I took two trades today. One of them was a winner and one of them was a loser. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly why one of them worked out and the other didn't. As you guys can see, I still had a pretty good day, finished green on all of my top step XFAs, but let's get into the two trades that I took today and exactly what went right or wrong in both, okay? So the first trade was right here. Now this was in the morning, basically around New York Open. I took some longs off of this inversion, okay? So my goal with this trade and the reasoning for it, I'll break it right down. So obviously we have the inversion. It's on good momentum. We close a candle above it. Above, we have some good low resistance liquidity that we've generated, and we have also swept this internal low, which I'll mark out right now. And then we're also delivering off of a bullish 5-minute gap. So all of that confluence lined up for a pretty good opportunity to go long in my eyes, especially because we never end up inverting this bullish gap right here. We end up holding up pretty much. And the best part about this trade, aside from that good low resistance liquidity up there, is that we actually have a very significant imbalance high. So for those of you who don't know, I've already explained this in a lot of videos, but imbalance highs and imbalance lows are some of the best targets, in my opinion, that there can be. So what it is just a swing high inside of a bearish fair value gap or a swing low inside of a bullish one. Especially on higher time frame gaps, this works really well. So this is a 1 hour, 4 hour, 1 day gap. I mean, it's all of them. And as you can see, we have this obvious swing high inside of it. So this morning, when I was looking for longs, we had not taken this yet. So it was going to be an ideal target in my mind. So we'll go back to the 1 minute chart, which is where my executions were happening. And so I longed this, assuming that we had already taken the lows. So we had put in the low for the morning and we were going to move back up to this draw on liquidity. Now, very quickly, I end up getting stopped out of this trade. Okay. It doesn't even take more than a few minutes. So I get stopped out of this trade. And then we actually get another inversion right here. But I did not take it because the last one completely failed. And this one had already taken an internal high, so there was no guarantee we'd even get to the next one for me to have a good spot to set my stop to break even. Because on this initial trade that I took right here, my plan was to set my stop to break even right at this internal swing high, okay? But since we had already taken the one the second time around, like right here, we took that internal high, I didn't take it. Not to mention, we were just kind of chopping around and there was no continuation, and this one would have stopped us out too. So the first trade obviously was a loser. Now, we finally ended up getting the move I kind of expected up to this draw on the third inversion. Okay, so we had this inversion right here, good momentum, and we end up running up to our target and then some. But like I said, so yeah, I did not participate in this move. I ended up being right, like my draw on liquidity hit, but first of all, I got stopped out when I actually took the trade, and then I watched it fail a second time off an inversion in real time. So I just didn't feel like it was the right time to be chasing another trade. Now, I usually do one trade a day, but I did end up taking a second trade because I saw a setup so A+ that I literally had to take it. I usually have my monitor with my charts on while I'm doing work in the background. So I did see a setup forming towards midday, and I ended up capitalizing. But we're going to go to the second setup. As for why this trade didn't work in the morning, we'll get to that later in the video. Real quick, if you're enjoying this content so far, make sure you like and subscribe. Helps me out a ton. I put out videos like this all the time to help you all become better traders and to be transparent about the trades I take. So without further ado, let's get into the next trade. Now, my second trade, this was one of the better setups I've seen in a while. Let me break down exactly why the setup was good, and then we're going to get into kind of some of the other stuff behind it, like why did this one work and not the last, and how did I manage this from a psychological standpoint after already being down on the day once I entered. So the first thing about this trade, very obvious, we have a high momentum inversion, okay, on the 15-minute chart. So we have a high momentum inversion. We are delivering out of a daily 4-hour, 1-hour bearish gap, whatever time frame you want to look at. That's the Friday news dump. So this was a massive bearish gap that we were delivering out of. We have very strong momentum, and the best part about this is that we have exact equal lows on ES over 2 hours apart, okay? That is a very strong signal that the market's going to want to draw back to that area. So when I see something like this and we have just a very V-shaped type of reversal to the downside and we're moving towards something as obvious as a draw of liquidity as equal lows to the tick, I am going to take that type of trade every single time, or exact equal highs, whatever way it's going. You want to be a part of these moves because this is the highest probability drawn liquidity that exists in the market, okay? And I don't love shorting as much as I love longing, just because from a statistical standpoint, the market usually goes up, and especially lately, we've been near all-time highs. But this short made sense, and I'll show you guys the very next candle. We zoom right to my target. This was literally on ES, right? Keep in mind on ES, this next candle was minus 21 points, okay? I think it took us exactly 5 minutes from my entry to get down to my target. Yeah, so it was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 1-minute candles. We hit the target immediately. It was so high probability, okay? So I do have a rule that I've talked about where I take 1 trade per day. So why did I take a second trade? Well, it all boils down to the motivation and mentality behind that second trade if you take it at all, okay? Because here's the thing. This is a trade I would have also taken had I won my first trade. Just because if I'm seeing it in the background while I'm doing my work and I start, like, the bell goes off in my head, holy shit, this is one of the best setups I've seen in such a long time. I would have taken it even if I had already been up on the day. So this trade did not come from the mindset of, let me make back what I lost this morning. If you're trading with that mindset, this is what's usually going to happen. It's either going to go against you and you're going to lose, or it's going to go for you, but you might not even catch the move because you got so nervous the second it ticked into the negative. Why? Because when you entered that trade thinking from a greed and scarcity perspective, you didn't think, how bad is this going to feel if I double up my losses on the day? You're only thinking of, how nice is it going to be when I break even or finish the day positive? Are you truly being greedy, or are you actually just taking advantage of a setup that does not present itself often? Because think about how liquid futures are. Think about how much they tick around. To have exact equal lows to the T several hours apart is very uncommon. It's not something you see every day. It's really not something you see every week. So when you see something like that, when I see something like that, I feel like I have to take advantage of that very high probability setup, okay? Because if you trust your system and you trust your discipline and you trust yourself that you're not coming at this second trade from a perspective of, I need to get my get back, and you're coming at it for more, what a great opportunity this is. This is exactly what I like to look for when I'm taking a trade. So regardless of what happens, I'm not going to be upset about the result because this is a setup I feel like I need to take given my rules and system. So that's kind of how I thought of it, and it ended up working out. What if this had stopped me out? Okay, same thing. I would have still been fine because I know that that's a setup worth taking, and I'm taking that 11 out of 10 times. And 8 out of 10, it's probably going to work. So why would I complain on the 2 out of 10 times that it doesn't? And that takes me to my final point in this video, which is why the first trade did not work and why the second trade did. You guys have been waiting for this because you probably want to hear, me break down a reason. A lot of you guys were in the Discord live with me today, watching me take that first trade, and a lot of you might have lost on it, right? And so why did it lose? The answer is very simple. It's just because it lost. And the reason I say that is because no system hits every time, okay? So, a lot of people are going to overanalyze their losses. They're going to look at this 1 minute long from NQ this morning that we all took, and they're going to ask themselves, why? Why was that not good enough? Why did that not play out at all? Why did we sweep it twice again? Sometimes that is just the way shit goes, right? And so the reason I say that is because a lot of people that I notice will have to overanalyze their losses. Like, I think there's a misconception out there in the trading space that whenever you lose, it's because you did something wrong. I'm here to tell you that is not the case. Now, obviously, a lot of losses are because something was done wrong, but there are such a thing as good losses, respectable losses, losses that just happen because it's part of the game, because the markets are random at times, right? And you can find patterns, you can find setups that work more often than not, like I have with the STIM model, the sweep, tap, inversion, momentum, but none of that ever means it's going to work every time. Was this right here an A+ setup? Yes, it actually was, in my opinion, and you'll actually see a lot of other ICT traders took this as well. I'm on Twitter. I'm following, a lot of other creators in the space. I never base what I do off what they do in terms of, I never try to compare myself to other people in the space, but just to, for anyone who wonders, a lot of people seem to take an L on this trade. Was it a good trade? Yes. Would I take this again if it happened tomorrow? Yes. Would I probably get a different result? Yeah, probably. But if I lost again, would I be mad at the fact that I took this? Not at all. That's part of the game. So, and that's where it comes in, the discipline of like knowing that you can have an A plus perfect looking setup with this model or any model ever, and it can just go, fly right back in your face. And that's okay. Because as long as you don't let it get to you, as long as you don't let it tilt you, as long as you don't start over analyzing it and trying to think of 80 new criteria to add to never lose again, which also just makes you more likely to lose because then you overcomplicate it. As long as you can avoid all those traps, you're going to be good, right? And that's the main takeaway that I have from today. Because I've been trading this model for quite some time, but even still, no one's ever immune to feeling down or feeling crappy about a losing day or feeling like they could have traded better or why did I do this wrong or why did I enter this trade, right? It's so easy to enter a trade like this that's A plus by every criteria of the setup, and then it goes against you and you say, why'd I take that? Why'd I take that? Okay, well, ask yourself, what would you have done if we got to move straight to the upside and hit our draw on liquidity and you didn't take it? You'd be screaming, why didn't I take it? So that's always how this type of stuff goes. The main thing is if you see an A plus setup and you feel comfortable with it, whatever your model is, if you're trading mine or trading your own, if you see an A plus setup, take it. The reason the first trade didn't work and the second did is actually just nothing. There is no reason. They were both A plus setups. One of them just didn't pan out, right? Now, the second one worked because everything that went right, right? Like the whole STIM model presented itself. But there's no reason why this right here was not a good STIM model trade. It just didn't play out. And that's the reality of any trading strategy. Even when you're finding the most perfect setups, not every one of them is going to hit, okay? And that's kind of my main takeaway. So I hope this helped you guys, especially any of you that might have taken this trade, taken a loss, and gotten down about it. Part of the game. Think about it as a business expense, right? So luckily I found a great setup, one that I would take a million out of a million times. The one on ES that I showed you, that short, ended up taking that, getting myself back to pretty respectable green on the day across my XFAs and even my new evals that I just bought. But yeah, hope this helped you guys out. And like I said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and sub. Also drop a comment if you took either of these trades. Helps me out a ton. And if you want to trade with me live or interact with me or see my daily draws on liquidity, daily bias, all this stuff for free completely, join my free trading Discord. It is linked in my YouTube bio, and hopefully you guys all join and communicate with me. I'm a small creator still, so I get back to every single person that messages me or reaches out to me in there. So I'm excited to interact with you guys, and yep, make sure to support. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.